Star joins us.
What up, man?
What's up, brother?
What's up, Chris? All good?
How are you?
Good.
All good.
Good. We've loved having you here this week.
It's been a great week.
A lot of fun.
It's always great with you guys.
All right, let's talk. Let's talk. The latest now with Anthony Davis. AD wants out of New Orleans, that we know. And there is no shortage of teams looking to trade for him, that we assume. According to a report, the Celtics are viewed now as the most attractive trade partner for the Pelicans. In addition to young players like Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, Boston has the numbers 14, 20, and 22nd pick in this year's draft. Broussard, should the Celtics blow up their young core for Anthony Davis?
It all depends on Kyrie Irving, period. That's like the end of the discussion. He's close with Anthony Davis. He can be talking to Anthony Davis right now. The Celtics should be talking to Kyrie. Look, if we can get AD, will you stay? That's it. And if Kyrie's just out of there, then I wouldn't worry about Anthony Davis if I'm them. So if Kyrie will stay, then I would trade Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Terry Rozier, whoever, all these young guys out of there. Because one thing that does is get rid of your problem you had this year. Because it was a lot of the young guys who felt like they were better than they were. They got to the conference finals without Kyrie. They're also in their rookie contracts, so trying to establish themselves as individual stars to get the big money. You get rid of all of that. Then you'd have a big three of Kyrie, Anthony Davis, and Gordon Hayward. You still got Al Horford, Marcus Smart, you could probably keep him, maybe Marcus Morris. Like, that's a nice squad. Now, that changes the tenor of your whole squad. And then the question becomes, can Brad Stevens handle all these Mercedes-Benzes? Because he didn't do that this year. So if Kyrie's out of there, there's no way I'm giving up my youngsters for what's probably a one-year rental, because they're not going to, if they give up all those guys, Jason Tatum and so on, and lose Kyrie, they're not going to be as good as Milwaukee.
Well,
they're not going to be as good as Philadelphia,
Let me ask
probably.
you this. If Kyrie leaves and they trade all those guys, are they as good as New Orleans? Like, if Anthony Davis...
That's a fair question.
Anthony Davis, like Zion, Drew Holiday, and me, versus what would be left in Boston,
right,
which is what? Gordon Hayward trying to come back, Al Horford if he opts in, and Anthony Davis.
You would make the playoffs because the East isn't as deep, but that's it. You're right. You wouldn't be a contender.
I think they should make the playoffs if he were to stay in New Orleans next year with Drew Holiday, Zion, and a full 82
they
games.
They should have been able to fight for it this year.
Absolutely. But so here's the thing. I think at first glance, you're like, man, David Griffin said what he wants before he was the GM of the Pelicans is an elite draft pick, an elite young player, and an established veteran. Well, the Celtics can offer that Memphis pick, which one day might be an elite draft pick. They don't have an elite draft pick now. 14, 20, and 22 are. Right. 14's okay. 20 and 22 are 1 in 20 lottery tickets. But the Memphis pick, there's the elite draft pick. The established player is Marcus Smart, who I think they have to include for cap purposes because of salaries. And then the young star is Jason Tatum. And I think Jason Tatum's obviously better than any young player the Lakers have to offer, better than any young player the Knicks have to offer. But is Jason Tatum actually a future All-Star? Is Jason Tatum the guy that he looked like he was going to be after his rookie year? Or is he the guy that looks like he leveled off in year two? I got a fun little blind reveal for you. We haven't done one of these in a while. There's Jason Tatum. The guy on the right, same age, same draft class. He's about 5 inches taller, almost same percentage from three, more points, more rebounds. Who's the guy on the right? If we could, please. Maybe Lauri Markkanen. If Lauri Markkanen was the centerpiece of a trade, because the Bulls can offer...
Yeah, but that's different. Lauri Markkanen's playing on a bad team.
We got to rebate all of them.
Right. Jason Tatum was playing on a team that was going for a championship. And Kyrie Irving's presence changed everything.
Agreed on all points, but how much are we going to subtract from Markkanen's numbers? What do we think they would look like if those two guys flip-flopped? Do we think Lauri Markkanen couldn't have put up the season Jason Tatum did in Boston this year?
He's not nearly as good as Jason Tatum.
You think it's a massive gap, Markkanen to Tatum?
And I like Markkanen, but no, come on.
Okay, so you think Jason Tatum's
You can't just put a bunch of numbers on the screen and say who's better. You got to look at the context.
No, I did look. I agreed, but the context
is also... If they played the same position, you might be able to do some comparison, but their skill sets are totally different. I understand what you're trying to say because he's just trying to make the point for Chicago as a franchise. But the truth of the matter is, all that don't matter. Anthony Davis don't want to go to Chicago. He's from Chicago. Anthony Davis does not want to go to Boston.
Right.
So if Kyrie says, I'm out, Anthony Davis, they don't have that prime pick this year. that David Griffin said that he wants.
Right.
And now you can't put Tatum into a deal and Kyrie being out, because people have talked about the Kawhi experience, all right? And okay, it's been good. But first day of free agency, Kawhi could be with the Clippers. And then everybody be talking about, you know, Paul George, that really worked out. That's a precedent. Well, Paul George might have made a mistake. They got bumped in round number 1. He's not going to be getting all that goodwill. Oh, man, great job. Small market, man. Great to watch. Watch other players try to follow this. No, sirree. Man, guys want to win. And in this, I believe that Kyrie realized, because he didn't pick Boston.
Right.
Man, I get my second chance at this. I don't know how long I'm going to play. I'm getting ready to get me a superstar. So he can either go to New York and either try to lure someone to Brooklyn, or he can join LeBron in LA. If I'm Kyrie, man, I'm not thinking about playing in Boston anymore.
Even if you could get AD, like, and I don't know that AD would stay even with Kyrie, but you talk to him.
This is the thing. AD does not have the personality to change the franchise. Because Kyrie was not, when those guys
Kyrie would still be the leader. It'd still be Kyrie's team. I agree with that.
Yes, and just because you ship those guys out of the locker room, Kyrie has a problem leading. So even though he's not leading those Tatum, Rozier, all right, but he's going to be leading some other young players.
So we've been talking about this for a couple weeks now. Where do you think, if it isn't Boston, then that AD ends up?
I think he ends up in New York. Because I think David Griffin is going to make it very hard on the Lakers to get that deal done. One, because it's the Lakers and the whole situation. Two, because it's the West. And New York, we only know of 2 places that Anthony Davis would say, I'll stay long term. New York and the Lakers. And so the Lakers, RJ, look, the idea of pairing RJ Barrett and Zion Williamson, I love that idea. I think both those guys, you think Zion will put up big numbers. I think RJ Barrett can come into the league and score right away. You got him and Drew Holiday in your backcourt. That's pretty good. Then New York may have to get a third team involved to get a veteran that they want. But they also got picks from Dallas they can offer in the future.
They have the 2021 pick from Dallas. The 2023 pick from Dallas is probably going to end up being a second rounder or a bad first rounder. So
they have an unprotected.
2021. No, the unprotected is
now
2021.
Dallas may be good by then with Luka, but
Anthony Davis, to me, I agree with Broussard, New York or LA, and it will come down to how good does David Griffin think RJ Barrett is. If he thinks RJ Barrett, like you said, Chris, you talked to a GM that thought it was a 3-person draft. If he agrees it's a 3-person draft, then he will go to the Knicks. If he thinks it's a 2-person draft, like some guys do, Zion and Ja, and then there's a muddle 3 through 7, the Lakers can offer better players that are currently in the league to go along with the 4th pick. We don't know where Anthony Davis is going. I feel like we know this. Kyrie Irving is not going back to Boston. Kyrie Irving did not have a good time this year in Boston. And last year, when he was having a good time, he got hurt. And so Danny Ainge has not shown the propensity to go all in with no backup plan. And losing Kyrie, trading away what was your haul from that Nets heist for what could just be 1 year of Anthony Davis on a mediocre team would not make sense.
All right, Chris, stick around. Take a break. Coming up, how were the Warriors able to pull out the win last night?